price is wrong.
Remember the first time Adam Sandler charged at a golf ball like it owed him money? Happy Gilmore wasn't just a comedy. It was peak 90s. The movie that played nonstop on TV and made everyone try that ridiculous run-up swing. But here's the thing. Beneath the craziness are Easter eggs, improv gems, and behind-the-scenes chaos you probably missed. So let's rewind to 1996 and count down 10 wild moments from Happy Gilmore. Don't miss the bonus at the end. It's the wildest one of all. Fact number 1. Billy Madison Easter egg. Before Adam Sandler built his comedy empire, he left a little clue for fans right at the start of Happy Gilmore. If you pause during the hockey rink scene, look closely at the posters plastered on the wall. Among the hockey ads and team logos, you'll spot a poster for Billy Madison. That's Sandler's previous movie, released just 1 year earlier. It's like he was winking at the audience, saying, hey, all these goofy characters live in the same universe. Fans have even called it the start of Sandler Verse, where movies like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and later hits are tied together by Easter eggs, cameos, and inside jokes. It's quick, it's subtle, but it proves Sandler was already world-building before cinematic universes were even cool. And speaking of things hiding in plain sight, fact number 2, Ben Stiller's secret cameo. Remember Grandma Gilmore getting sent to the nursing home? She's greeted by a creepy mustached orderly who instantly gives off bad vibes. Guess what? That's Ben Stiller. Here's the kicker. He wasn't even credited for the role. Stiller basically dropped in, put on a fake smile, and ad-libbed most of his lines. That's why his threats to the old folks sound so uncomfortably real. He was making them up on the spot. What makes it even funnier is that a few years later, Stiller became famous for Meet the Parents, playing another overbearing, hilariously intense character. It's like Happy Gilmore gave us a sneak peek at the energy he'd bring to Hollywood 5 years later. And if you think that was sneaky, wait until you hear the hidden backstory baked into his character. Fact number 3. Ben Stiller's hidden villain backstory. Most people remember Hal, the orderly, for being rude and downright mean. But if you look closely at the background in the nursing home, there's a framed photo on the wall. It shows Hal proudly holding Grandma Gilmore's jewelry. It's easy to miss, but this little prop changes everything. It suggests that Hal isn't just a jerk. He's actually stealing from the residents, scamming them out of their valuables. Suddenly, he's not just a mean nurse, he's a full-blown villain with a hidden backstory. It's dark, it's subtle, and it makes every smirk and sarcastic line feel even more sinister. But if you thought that detail was shocking, wait until you hear about the fight scene that turned into something very real. Fact number 4. Bob Barker's real punches. One of the greatest cameos in comedy history is the fight between Happy Gilmore and Bob Barker. You might think, well, that had to be mostly stunt doubles, right? Nope. Barker was in his 70s when they filmed this, but he flat out refused to use a double. Turns out, Barker actually trained in martial arts with Chuck Norris. When Sandler and the director suggested a stuntman, he said, no thanks, I know how to fight. And he meant it. Every punch, every grapple, every tumble you see, that's the real Bob Barker. The only part a stunt double handled was the roll down the hill. Everything else was Barker, throwing actual punches. That's why Sandler looks genuinely rattled. And of course, it all ends with one of the most legendary lines in comedy history. The price is wrong, bitch. Fans love to believe that line was improvised, and while it's never been officially confirmed, it feels so raw it might as well have been. And if you thought Barker's punches were real, wait until you hear how another actor's improvisation turned into comedy gold. Fact number 5. Shooter McGavin's improvised line. Shooter McGavin isn't just a great villain, he's a perfect parody of every smug, entitled country club snob. And one of his most iconic moments wasn't even in the script. The finger guns and the smarmy little "shooter" catchphrase. Christopher McDonald came up with it on the spot. He admitted later that he tried to improvise a line, completely blanked, and just blurted out the gesture with the sound effect. And it worked. That happy accident defined Shooter's character. Fans loved it. The crew cracked up, and it became one of the most quoted moments in the entire movie. So while Bob Barker threw real punches, Shooter McGavin was winning with improvised finger pistols. And that wasn't the only surprise hiding in this movie. Fact number 6. Subway's marketing revolution. Happy Gilmore didn't just change comedy, it also changed how brands thought about movies. Remember that giant Subway sandwich scene? Happy stuffing his face with a sub that's about the size of a baseball bat? That wasn't just a throwaway gag, it was one of the earliest big examples of playful product placement. Instead of just showing a logo in the background, they built Subway directly into the story. Happy gets sponsored, appears in a fake commercial, and suddenly, you've got a whole audience associating golf and subs with Adam Sandler's goofy charm. It was silly, but it worked. Subway got a massive boost in cultural visibility, and years later, Sandler himself even appeared in real Subway ads. It was entertainment and advertising blending together in a way that felt fresh at the time. And while Happy's sandwich was ridiculous, the behind-the-scenes chaos with Chubb's wooden hand might be even funnier. Fact number 7. Chubb's wooden hand gag. Carl Weathers as Chubbs is unforgettable. The golf pro who lost his hand to an alligator and replaced it with a stiff wooden one. The joke works every time, but the prop, not so reliable. That fake hand was fragile. It kept breaking on set, and there's even a handshake scene where you can clearly see it bend like it's made of rubber instead of wood. It was supposed to be tough, but in reality it was basically a running gag for the crew. What makes it funnier is how much the prop adds to Chubb's character. Every creak, every awkward grip, every time it falls off. It makes the story of this poor guy losing his real hand to an alligator even more absurd. And speaking of alligators, you might want to know what they use for Chubb's ultimate trophy. Fact number 8. The real alligator head. When Chubbs finally gets his revenge on the alligator that took his hand, he proudly keeps the creature's head as a trophy. Here's the wild part. That wasn't just a cheap foam movie prop. The head was actually a real taxidermy piece. Because it was authentic, it was heavy. Really heavy. Carl Weathers had to lug the thing around in his scenes, and you can tell he's struggling to hold it naturally. What looks like dramatic intensity on camera is partly just him wrestling with the weight of a literal alligator skull. The choice to use a real head gave the scene an extra layer of realism, but it also made Chubb's already ridiculous storyline even harder to pull off. And once you know it, you'll notice the strain every time he holds that thing up. From product placement sandwiches to fragile fake hands to actual alligator trophies, Happy Gilmore was already a mix of the absurd and the authentic. And nowhere is that clearer than in Adam Sandler's own golf swing. Fact number 9. Adam Sandler's legendary swing. You've seen it 100 times. Happy Gilmore's insane running golf swing. It looks like something only a stuntman could pull off, right? But here's the kicker. Sandler really trained to hit those drives. Instead of relying on camera tricks or visual effects, he practiced until he could actually smack the ball over 300 yards. The long shots in the movie aren't fake. They're Sandler showing off genuine athleticism. And it paid off because that swing became one of the most iconic moves in comedy. It's wild to think the same guy who made us laugh with goofy voices also had the dedication to master a sports stunt that pro golfers found impressive. And while Sandler was pushing himself on the fairway, Carl Weathers was having one of the wildest behind-the-scenes moments of all. Fact number 10. Carl Weathers' window fall. Remember the heartbreaking moment when Chubbs tumbles out the window? Here's the story fans love to tell. Carl Weathers actually slipped during that scene, and his scream was completely real. The director thought it looked so authentic that they just kept it in the final cut. And if you rewatch carefully, there's another quirky detail. The crocodile head Chubbs is holding seems to change size between shots. Sometimes it looks enormous, other times it looks oddly smaller. A little continuity error that sharp-eyed fans love to point out. It's the perfect mix of comedy and chaos. A genuine slip, a real yell, and a prop that can't quite stay consistent. All in all, it gave Chubbs one of the most memorable exits in movie comedy. But before we wrap up, there's one more hidden gem you've got to see for yourself. Bonus Watch Challenge, Sandler's golf trick. One final detail to keep an eye out for, the famous scene where Happy smashes a golf ball through a car window. According to fan lore, Adam Sandler nailed that shot on his very first try. No rehearsals, no multiple takes, just a perfect hit straight into the glass. The best part? The extras on set weren't expecting it. Their shocked reactions are totally genuine because they thought it would take dozens of tries. Instead, Sandler delivered it in one clean swing. So next time you watch, pay attention to the faces in the background. That surprise is as real as it gets. And there you have it. 10 wild moments you never noticed in Happy Gilmore. From Easter eggs connecting the Sandler Verse to Ben Stiller's secret villainy, to Bob Barker literally beating up Adam Sandler, this movie is packed with details that make it more than just a goofy golf comedy. What's your favorite hidden moment? Did you already know about the Billy Madison poster? Or was it the Subway product placement that blew your mind? Drop your pick in the comments. If you liked this one, check out our deep dive into Superman, the movie. Because just like Happy Gilmore, it's filled with secrets you've probably never noticed.